And you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Today we get to say hello to the new Executive Director, Billy Taylor, for the Mississippi Department of Rehab, and hear about one of their great events that they've got coming up, Disability Awareness Night. So welcome, Billy.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca.
I'll have to say you have big shoes to fill because Chris Howard was one of my favorites who always came in and talked about the good things that were going on there at the Department of Rehab. And boy, he really left you a good department to hand the reins over to.
He did. I wish I had $1 for every time I've heard big shoes to fill over the past
okay, so
past
maybe, and you know, it's your own shoes to fill in sort of that way. But I think you definitely have a good group and you have a good mission. But for those who may be just hearing about Mississippi Department of Rehab for the first time, or maybe not very sure of what all the resources you guys do. I know we can't go through all of them because there's a ton. How do you, Billy, sort of explain to people what the Department of Rehab does?
Yeah, I like to think of it as the one-stop shop for Mississippians with disabilities. So we have all the disability-related programs, and there's three major programs. Our vocational rehab programs, which helps individuals get back in the workforce or maintain their job in the workforce. We have what we call the Office of Special Disability Programs, which is an independent living program that helps individuals remain living in their home rather than in a nursing home. That provides a lot of personal care attendant services through a couple of Medicaid waivers. And then we also have the Disability Determination Services, which is where we make the determination whether or not somebody's eligible for Social Security disability benefits.
So y'all are never slow day.
We're not. You know, we have 50 offices around the state, about 1,000 employees. So yeah, pretty big outfit, but really the easiest way to think of us is just the one-stop shop for Mississippians with disabilities. So if you know somebody that has a disability, we probably have a program out there that could help them either get a job or live independently.
I know that to be true because there's a lot of folks I've met now understanding more of what you guys do and have said, hey, have you looked at MDRS for that? Hey, have you connected that? And they're like, no, I didn't know they had this or I didn't know they had that. And I'm like, yes, they're a resource. Like, you know, if you have a disability or you live with someone who does or know someone who's going through different phases or stages, it's always good to sort of check in and see if you guys have something to help, particularly when it comes to like education, schooling, those type of things. 'Cause you never know until you ask, right?
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of our counselors do individualized plans with these individuals around the state. So we'll have a counselor sit down with them and really map out the roadmap to success for that individual. So all of our programs are very much individualized in that aspect. It's not like cookie cutter type situation. You know, these counselors have been trained in college. A lot of them have master's degrees to have those, you know, heart-to-heart conversations with Mississippians that have disabilities and be able to help them find their best path forward.
So how did your path wind up at Mississippi Department of Rehab, Billy?
See, I've been in the executive director role for about 2 months now, but I've been at the agency for almost 15 years. So I started out back in 2010 as the attorney that represented the agency. And I did that for about 4 years. And then when Chris Howard became the executive director in 2015, he hired me into the chief of staff position. So from 15 until 2 months ago, I was the agency's chief of staff and kind of handled a lot of the support functions and a bit of the behind the scenes type stuff at the agency. And then in February of this year is when Chris announced his retirement, and then the board named me as the new executive director starting on May the 1st.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
8 weeks in, and I think I just heard it referred to as drinking from a water hose. Is that how you feel?
That's a very good way to describe it, yeah. I feel like I learned a lot over the past 15 years, but I've learned a lot more over the past 8 weeks, for sure.
Absolutely. But again, go back to just what a great organization that you guys have and so many good things. And one of the things is having these events where you bring awareness to disability, but also to all of the things that are available for those living with a disability. So that is coming up. You've got your Disability Awareness Night. So tell us all about that, Billy.
Yeah, so this is the second year we've done this. And it's really just a fun night for the disability community to all come together to one place and just have a night of community and fellowship amongst this group. So we'll have all of our programs there represented. A lot of the different disability groups will be there. And we give out tickets to any of our clients that are interested in coming, you know, family members, anybody from the different disability groups can give us a call at 800-443-1000. Or they can send an email to our communications department, and we will get them on the list for free tickets to that night. And it's really just an opportunity for all of the disability community to come together and just enjoy a night of baseball and fellowship, learn about the different programs that we have, some of the different supports that the disability groups around the state can provide, And so, yeah, really just a kind of a night off from a normal everyday grind and just to come together as a community of Mississippians with disabilities.
So this is at Trustmark Park. It's coming up July 29th. So it's also one of the last times I guess you'll get to see the Braves here. So that'd be a good opportunity to come out and do that.
Yes, yeah. I know they have a few more home games, but yeah, this was on July the 29th at 6:05 will be the first pitch. There's fireworks after the game. The kids can run the bases. We have some of our clients singing the national anthem and a speaker that's going to, I think, kick off the event that night. So, yeah, a lot of good fun stuff that night. We'll have a lot of vendors and disability groups set up in the concourse, giving out giveaways and information about their different agencies. So yeah, good night to all get in one spot.
You mentioned the word community, Billy, and I think that's one thing that I find most beautiful about the disability community is that it feels like everyone comes together, everyone joins in to try to share resources and information and opportunities and sort of also see those grow and flourish if people have sort of new ideas. Is that very intentional to sort of flourish this idea of a community, or is it just that Mississippians are just that cool and it kind of comes together naturally?
No, there really is a community feel to it. It's really a tight-knit community. I mean, there's many different disability organizations, and they all do a good job of catering to certain disability types around the state. But this night is really just an opportunity for all those different disability groups and different communities to come together and just have one night of fellowship and fun together.
Why is it important, Billy, to continue to raise the awareness? I mean, it seems like, every time you turn around, it may be that you're hearing about it or that someone's reminding folks of the different resources that they have to offer. But why is it important that we keep sharing that? Why is it important that we keep having these events, you keep having these conversations, you keep sharing what's at MDRS?
Yeah, we hear so often that we're the best kept secret in the state because once you provide services to a family or services to a client, they're just so thankful for the way that changed their lives. And they always say, like, I had no idea this kind of thing existed. So I feel like that's one of the main parts of my job and our agency's job is to get the word out to Mississippians, especially Mississippians with disabilities, of the services we provide. But I think it's just one of those things that people don't really pay much attention to it or think much about it until it really hits home and affects their family or, one of their loved ones has some, significant trauma in their life or issue comes up that leads to them having a disability. And that's when they first, really start getting acclimated to some of the services we provide. So we're going to continue just to push the word out around the state. That way people know to go to our agency when you have any kind of disability arise in your life. And we want to be that one-stop shop. I believe the legislature did a good job. I think it was in 1990 when they formed our agency. They kind of took a few different disability-type programs and brought them all together under one state agency. And I feel like it provides a lot of continuity to Mississippians with disabilities to know that MDRS is the place we go to get services regardless of what that service may need to be. Because a lot of our programs are unrelated to one another other than the fact that they serve people with disabilities. So I feel like they did a good job whenever they organized our agency,
And for people who say, oh, maybe I'm not that disabled, or I don't want to take away from somebody else, or I don't, I hate to be a bother. What do you say to that about coming in and utilizing the resources that are there? Yeah,
we actually get that a lot. So we get a lot of federal dollars that flow into the state for the very purpose of getting people with disabilities, whether they're major disabilities or minor disabilities, into the workforce and keeping them in the workforce. So the thought is, the more we can have people in the workforce being taxpayers, enjoying the benefits that come with having that career that they're after, that full-time employment, the better off we are as a nation, as a state. So we have, plenty of resources there to do just that, to try to get them comfortable in their working environment, to get them to that next level in their career, whether that's looking at getting an advanced degree or some credential or, maybe a master's degree or something like that. And we can provide all the services to get you from where you are now to where you ultimately want to be.
And all it takes is a phone call, at least to ask. That's what I always say, Billy. If someone wants to connect with MDRS, and I know you mentioned 50 places around the state, how do we find the one that's right for us?
Yeah, so on our website, you can go to mdrs.ms.gov. We have an office locator feature, so you can click the county that you live on, and it'll tell you, or live in, it'll tell you the closest MDRS office to you. So I know with 50 offices, we're pretty much most of the big-ish cities around the state.
I like
so
it.
Yeah, the office locator feature is a nice way to
big-ish.
Yeah,
that is the best. That is the best described for Mississippi cities. Well, welcome, Billy Taylor. I know this will be the first of many times you'll be here on Good Things. We appreciate you. And again, that's Trustmark Park on June the 29th for the Braves game for your disability awareness event. I appreciate your time. You guys stick with us. We got more for you up next.